creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round, an adventure is always waiting. The storytelling needs for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Whoa. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education Natal, and I take this opportunity to say a happy Saturday to all. I wish you all a peaceful and successful weekend and restful weekend, and as we go through and review our week within our ministry, the week that passed, and of course give some projections as to what is to come, I take this opportunity as well to encourage you all to continue to support our students, our young people in the various endeavors. And so today is a sad day for us here on Nevis. I won't go into too much detail. Safe to say, I ask that you keep the families affected in your prayers, and that we continue to try to hold each other up in prayer. I think that the one of our challenges as we evolve as a society is that we've lost some of our core values and principles, and while we can't hang on to everything, there are some things that I think made us who we are, brought us to the place that we're at, and so I pray that we will continue to try our best to reclaim those values, to reclaim the things that make us or have made us over the years place where persons look forward to visiting and being around, and of course a place where we look forward to function even within our schools and our classrooms. We are seeing the changes that have affected our society and the results of those changes, and so I ask that we, as I said, keep each other in our prayers even over the course of this weekend and going into the upcoming week. We also are aware that applications were open for the Summer Job Attachment Program for the Department of Youth here on Nevis, and that program targets school leavers. So we know that the application deadline was yesterday, and so I want to remind all that there are other steps to this process, and to also encourage everyone as far as possible to continue to support our young people as we try to create meaningful opportunities for them. And so the process closed out yesterday, and it was specifically for school leavers. So if we received any applicants who are not school leavers, then we would have to alert to those persons that they are not eligible for this particular program, this particular activity. As we look forward to what is to come with the Summer Job Attachment Program from June 3rd, which is a week from Monday, to June 14th, the interview processes will be conducted. The training will take place from June 17th to June 21st. Volunteer projects take place from June 24th to June 28th, and the internships from July 8th to August 9th. And as I said, we look forward to those opportunities being presented for our young people so that they can continue to gain some of the experiences which are needed to be productive parts of our members of our society. We also are aware that the application deadline for the prospective teachers course was yesterday as well, and so we look forward to the next steps in that regard. We are very aware that we have many openings sometimes during the summer months as teachers decide to pursue other routes and other pathways, whether it be retirement or seeking another opportunity or pathway, whatever it may be. And so the Prospective Teachers course is just an introductory opportunity for us to get an idea, get a sense of the persons who are interested in becoming teachers. Note, and I want to say very early, that we are aware that there are teachers who are returning from the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College. In fact, we have 9 teachers who completed their teacher training program this year, and so those will have to also be incorporated, as well as teachers who may have gone overseas and are resuming duties after completing their degree program of study. So the Prospective Teachers course is just one component of the bigger picture, and as we manage expectations, that means that we will only be able to fill the posts where there are needs, and of course our priority will be for our trained teachers who completed that program, our graduate teachers who are coming back with their degrees, and then of course those persons who may be fresh out of school. So that is how that process goes. It's not a case where everyone who comes to the course will receive a job. It's just like any other training opportunity, any other interview process. It comes down to where there are needs, where there are vacancies, and of course where the priority areas are as well. So we hope to be able to update you in the upcoming weeks in terms of those 2 major activities that we'll be hosting within our ministry for employment purposes, whether it be the internship employment through the Summer Job Attachment Program or the Prospective Teachers course process. And so we'll take a short break, and when we return we'll be able to bring you up to speed with other activities happening across our system.
City Saint kids, keep it sweet. Keep listening to VAH.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's youth on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab the gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
Alright, and welcome back to Youth on the Go here on VAH Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education Ital, and of course it is wonderful to be here with you this Saturday to share updates, activities, upcoming events, opportunities for our students, for our young people. We know that we are just about maybe halfway through the final term of the 2023-2024 academic year, and it has been a very, very eventful academic year. As we reflect on last week, we think of the STEM challenge, which I'll share with you in a bit, but we also, before I go too far ahead, we also want to remind persons that applications are available, application forms are available for the Youth Impact 12 program, so for the month of July. So the applications for the month of June closed out yesterday, and we have forms available for the month of July, and we're encouraging all of you to nominate a young person in the area of youth in cultural and historical preservation. The deadline for the July Youth Impact Award for youth in cultural and historical preservation is June 21st, 2024. And you can visit the Department of Youth office to collect a form and to nominate any outstanding young person who may fall into that category. So when we think of young persons who are involved in cultural and historical preservation, we think of persons who may be involved in the cultural art forms. We may be thinking of persons who are involved in some form of capturing our history or promoting our history. And so those are some of the things that you can start thinking about. I may not be able to capture all, but as long as they're doing something to build or to promote or to share or to bring awareness to what we have here on Nevis, then that young person may very well be eligible, and we encourage you to share their information so that we can get them through that process. And of course, the process of doing the application, there will be an interview with the candidate, and then the selection process and the announcement of the winner will take place. So that is Youth Impact 12 for this upcoming category of youth in cultural and historical preservation. We also have currently open the summer library program. The summer library program from the Nevis Public Library Services. And so this year, I don't know, I think it's the 31st year, the summer library program. And the summer library program has been a very impactful and a very impactful program. I attended the summer library program as a student, and so I encourage all parents. There are 2 age categories. They start on July 22nd and they run to July 26th for the 5 to 8 year olds. So 5 to 8 year olds, July 22nd to 26th, 2024. July 29th to August 2nd, you have the 9 to 12 year olds. July 29th to August 2nd, 9 to 12 year olds. The theme is Reduce, Reuse, Recycle for a Healthier Planet, and registration is currently open and it closes on June 21st, 2024. And so if you need any assistance, if you need any guidance, if you have questions, you can contact the Nevis Public Library at 469-5521, extension 6862. That's 469-5521, extension 6862 for the 34th annual summer library program. As we also look at and as we transition to taking a look at what happened last week, I want to say happy 74th anniversary to the Charlestown Secondary School. CSS celebrated their 74th anniversary yesterday, and so we know as the school has been serving our community, has been serving the island under our federation for the last 74 years. We look forward to next year when they celebrate another huge milestone, which would be the 75th anniversary. And so congratulations to all past and present principals, members of staff, and students of the Charlestown Secondary School and the Nevis 6th Form. So CSS turned 74 yesterday, and they had a concert presentation activity. They highlighted students who excelled during the course of the year, and we are so proud of CSS and of the CSS Lions as they celebrate this significant milestone. We also had the opportunity this week to host, our students were able to be part of 2 major activities. The STEM Challenge, which was hosted by the Department of Education, and we also saw the Tourism Youth Congress, which also took place. And we want to say commendations to all of the participants for both of those activities. The winner was of the Tourism Youth Congress was Miss Kiana Warner, and she will be traveling, I think, to the Cayman Islands later this year to participate in the regional CTO Youth Congress. We also want to highlight our students, both our primary and secondary school students who participated in the 2024 edition, the second annual First Federal Cooperative Credit Union STEM Challenge. That the STEM Challenge was part of our inaugural STEM Week celebrations last year, and this year we were able to see the continuation of the STEM Challenge. And the STEM Challenge is an activity-based competition. It is not a sit-down and regurgitation type quiz. Yes, the students had to do calculations and produce answers, but they also had to build and respond to prompts and use critical thinking and teamwork. And the purpose of the STEM Challenge was to build our students' capacity and build their 21st century learning skills. We talk about things such as critical thinking, and we say we need to teach children critical thinking. What we've learned is that we have to give them opportunities to be able to display those skills and to be able to challenge themselves. And what they learn through activities such as these is that you can be innovative and creative about how you approach any activity. You can be innovative and creative about how you go about solving problems, and that even if we take different paths to get to the solution, or the solution doesn't quite look the same, as long as we can explain and justify and get to a solution, then we are able to make it through. And so each round was scored based on a rubric, and not necessarily, in some cases it may not necessarily have been right versus wrong, but more so the ability to assess the problem, come up with a solution, and try to execute within the time frame given. And so that is the general idea of what the STEM Challenge is, and we look forward to that competition growing from strength to strength over the next few years. We want to first off say thank you to the STEM unit at the Department of Education for working on this competition and for executing it as well, and heartiest commendations to all of you for the work and the entire team who worked to make sure that this became a reality. We also want to take a moment out to say thank you to First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. As I said earlier this week, First Federal came on board when we pitched this competition, when they had no idea what the competition would look like. And so they heard of the vision, we gave our pitch, and they thought that it was something that they would be willing to partner with us on. And so the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union was able to sponsor us once again, and the entire ministry says thank you to First Federal Cooperative Credit Union for sponsoring the 2024 edition of the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union Limited STEM Challenge. And so 8 primary schools participated, and we want to congratulate the first, second, third place winners at the primary level. We had in first place the Joycelyn Library Primary School, in second place Maud Cross Preparatory School, and third place Ivor Walters Primary School. And I might add that we had to do a tiebreaker to determine the third place winners, and so the tiebreaker was held between the Ivor Walters Primary School and the St. James Primary School. The Ivor Walters Primary won the tiebreaker, and so they were able to walk away with the third place trophy. We also had the 3 secondary schools on Nevis participating in the secondary category, and the Gingerland Secondary School placed first, the Charlestown Secondary School placed second, and the Nevis International Secondary School placed 3rd. And so once again, commendations to all involved, and we look forward as this activity, this program continues to grow. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
8:60 a.m. The Powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go.
Welcome back to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughan Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education and Health, and you are with us here for Youth on the Go this Saturday. And every Saturday we try to bring you opportunities, activities, as much as we can for our students and for our young people. And so this Saturday is no different, and we look forward to sharing with you. As I said, we've shared some of our high moments and highlights, and of course we're now sharing some activities to come. In relation to what is to come, we know that at this time of the year we are very much focused on examinations. But tomorrow we will see in the area of sports, there will be a club challenge hosted by SKN Athletics, sponsored by National Caribbean Insurance and First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, and it is called the National Bank Group of Companies Club Championship. It will take place at the Nevis Athletic Stadium tomorrow, Sunday 26th May 2024 from 1 p.m. and the admission cost is $10 EC. Okay, so $10 gets you into the door. There are several clubs which will be participating in this activity, and so we encourage you as per usual to support our young people who will be participating from both St. Kitts and from Nevis. We also will see our second annual transition day taking place, where our students will be moving up one step up the ladder, one rung up the ladder on the 31st of May. And so each school, your schools will give you the guidelines and the expectations for the transition day, which will take place on May 31st. The idea is to give an orientation or preview of what is to come come September 2nd, 2024, when we start the 2024-2025 academic year. I can't believe we're this close and we're already talking about the new school year, and I know students start getting nervous when they hear about that, because they don't like to think about the new school year even during their vacation, much less before the end of term 3. But transition day is geared towards assisting with that. And then during the month of June, we will have our child month activities, and so next week we'll be able to share the calendar with you so that you can get a sense of what is expected for child month 2024. And so on that note, I want to share with you a bit about our expectations and some of the general areas of focus for the rest of the school year. As I said, we are currently just about, I think we have 1 week, a week and a half left of the CSEC examinations. We have the CAPE examinations running down to probably a month or so from now. No, actually to the 14th of June, and then we have promotion exams and end of year exams taking place commencing the 10th of June. So next week will be our last full week for our secondary schools, our last full instructional week, and in some regards it will not be a full week because the students will have their the week after next. So we have 2 more weeks and then the students go into exam mode. We are looking forward to, for example, the secondary schools, that the common exams which are set in at our curriculum development unit in St. Kitts. The first, second and third formers will be writing the common exams, and the common exams show us where our students are in relation to the curriculum as well as in relation to the coverage and mastery across the various subjects. So at first and second form, the students will continue to do their common exams in the areas of communication studies, mathematics and science. So that's first and second form, and for our third form students, they will have their common exams in the area, or the common exam in the area exams, yes, because it's communication studies and mathematics. So our first to third formers will be participating in that, and then all of our high schoolers will also be writing their end of year exams, which are summative exams. They are comprehensive exams. They cover the content which has been covered from first term to third term. Okay, so parents, that is very important for you to note that some of the exams will start on that week of June 10th. I believe that a few will start just before June 10th. There are some oral examinations for the lower school, the third, fourth, fifth formers. Third and fourth formers. They have oral examinations in the foreign languages. There are also oral examinations for communication studies. At Form 1, they will look at a reading passage which they will receive on the day of the event. Form 2, they would receive a poem, or they have received a poem which they should prepare a presentation on, and at Form 3 they received several speech prompts, and they should select a prompt and make a speech or write a speech based on that prompt. So Forms 1, 2 and 3 at all of our secondary schools across the Federation will be involved in common examinations in short order. And as I said, the promotion exams for our secondary schools start with during the week of June 10th, and the students will be writing the exams down to the end of their timetabled time. For most part, examinations usually run for 3 weeks, so most of the exams, if not all, will be finished by that last week of June, as school or early in the first week of July. School goes down to July 12th for our teachers and our students. And so if in the event that I know that although at the end of the examination period sometimes we have students who may not have their regularly structured classes, some students will have structured classes, particularly those in fourth form as they transition into the fifth form and getting ready for those last 2 terms of their secondary career. And for those students who are in fourth form, parents of students who are in fourth form, the reality is that they are going to finish out the next 2 weeks, do their examinations, and then they have 2 terms left before they have to write their CSEC examinations. And so to manage your time and to really pay attention to what is ahead will help you to relieve some of the stresses which can come with examinations. In relation to our primary school students, they will also have end of year examinations, and we are working with within our department to provide those as we did last year. from grades 1, kindergarten to grade 3. The end of year exam will focus on mathematics and language arts, and from grades 4 to 6, mathematics, language arts, social studies, and science. And so we want to encourage parents and all of our students to settle down. Your teachers are currently doing your time of review, and the content will be a lot, no matter what level you are at, whether it be primary or secondary. The content for the year and reviewing the content for the year is a lot, and so we don't expect you to just sit and wait for the end of or right about the exam or the night before to start to prepare, to start to study. And so we'll go through a few study tips for you, so as you prepare for those exams, that you can go in feeling ready. Parents know that we really have to manage our children's time, help them to manage their time. Most of them have not mastered that skill, and children, even those who are in high school, need that guidance and those supports. And it is important that as parents and as members of their support systems and their communities, that you provide those supports. We can also look forward to, after the exam period, we can look forward to the TDC Primary Schools Cricket Tournament, the TDC Wanaka Morton Primary Schools Tournament, that will take place. And then we have our graduation ceremonies, of course, for our primary and preschools, which will also take place before the end of the school year. So it's packed still, but I want us to make sure that we are placing our emphasis and placing our focus in the right place. And so for the rest of the show, I will be going through some tips for you, some advice that perhaps can help you to be able to navigate this time. We are aware that some parents are not very comfortable with the review process, and some of you might say, oh, that is too much for me. I've never done physics, for instance, because someone like me, I didn't do physics, and so I don't know how to support in that subject, or the chemistry is too much, especially the sciences, or I can't speak French at the 4th form level or Spanish at the 4th form level, so I don't know how to support, or the content is above me. While we may not all have mastery of all of the content, there are some key things that you can do as parents, and one of those things I alluded to and I want to focus in on. So my number one tip for you is to support your children in the area of time management. Monitor them, because they will take the time to do what is more pleasurable, what they enjoy more, and studying is not generally at the top of the list of things that children enjoy doing. And so my number one tip to parents: it doesn't matter what the content is, it doesn't matter what level the students may be at, please help with the management of their time. What can this time management look like? This time management looks like, first of all, an awareness that you have to spend some time studying. I know that some parents might just say to your students, go study. You don't have exams? You might ask, you don't have exams? Go study. And children have this way, I was guilty, yes I was, of just picking up the book and just holding it and say, oh, I'm studying. But having a book and just picking it up might not be effective, especially if they're not focused, or they're just doing it to get you to get off their backs, more or less, or to leave them alone. So just simply saying go study might not be enough for our students. So helping them to manage their time often looks like helping them to create a timetable, or encouraging them, depending on the level that they're at, to create a study timetable, but that you can review together. So this is an activity that I think can either be an independent activity where the students, especially the older ones, work out which days they'll study what subjects, or it can be a bonding activity for parents or guardians and their children, or the children within their care, so that they can come together and decide, okay, which subjects do you want to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and how much time should we allocate for each. Know that there are children who are involved in extracurricular activities as well, and those have to be considered when setting the schedule. This skill actually helps them to manage and to prepare and to reduce some of the stresses that come with preparing for examinations, but it also starts them on a path or a journey to scheduling themselves and managing their time and monitoring their time as well. So that is one of my key pieces of advice to parents who have children who are writing any form of examinations. Now at the kindergarten level, the grade 1 level, this will look very different. The scheduling parents will have to come from you, and telling a 5-year-old to go study is counterproductive. There is no way a 5-year-old is going to go to their book and study anything. They might go and go to sleep or color, or because it becomes punishment. And so that is the studying process for a 5-year-old, or the timetabling process for the 5-year-old, must be part of the parent's schedule, or the adult or the older person who's helping the student as well. But setting a timetable, setting a schedule, demonstrating that it is important. In the term 2, we had track and field season, and students had designated times when they would go to practice. They had times which you had on your calendars or your schedule that they would have to go to the track or go to the field near closest to their school or in their community, and those things were captured. And so the same level of emphasis and enthusiasm of planning out and making sure that they know what they're supposed to do and you know what they're supposed to do, that comes with the track and field season, should also come with this very important assessment season as well. Understand that a lot of these subjects also come with practice, and some parents have the allocated time for the subject, and some parents go into a little bit more detail in their planning, and they put when they want to do practice questions versus reading versus various activities. So it depends on the level of planning that you are willing to do, but at least I say at the basic level, make sure that you have time allocated for each subject daily. We'll take a short break, and when we return from the break, we'll continue with some tips as we get to our end of year assessments for our primary and secondary school students.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education et al., and it is indeed a pleasure to be here with you this Saturday, as it is every Saturday that we have the honor of being here on Vaughn Radio to share with our parents, our teachers, or our students, or any member of the public who makes a contribution towards or helps in some way to shape the future of our students. And so just before the break, we started talking about the end of term wrap-up activities, end of year wrap-up activities, the major wrap-up activity, of course, being the end of year assessment assessments, and assessments will take place from kindergarten straight through to fourth form. We know that our fifth formers are currently doing their end of program assessments via CSEC K for our sixth formers, or CCSLC for some of our students. And so our first tip was to make sure that you have time allocated, or to manage your time as it relates to studying, and we're asking parents to support children in this very important step. I know that some persons struggle with how to go about the timetable. Some persons decide, okay, I'm going to give each subject a certain amount of time per week or per evening. There are some persons who may decide we'll do one subject per night or one subject per evening, and on the weekends we'll do 3 per day. There are some who decide that they'll do it based on the students' strengths and weaknesses, so they would give more slots to the subjects that the students struggle in or may need extra time for reading or practice, and then they'll give a fewer slots to those that they have shown greater mastery of. So there are several, and then of course some prioritized by the exam timetable, so they focus for the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks would be the majority of the time goes to the first 2 subjects, and then as you get closer then you add on the others and drop off the first subjects on the exam timetable would be removed once they have written those subjects. So those are some of the key things that help with the timetable setting and allocating time and managing time towards studying. As I said before, if studying is not important to you, the parent, many times it may not be considered important for the students. And the reality is that you're facing so many competitors. You're competing with or against the digital devices. You are competing with social media, and I don't know that we can ever win the battle against social media short of telling them you can't use it for this time slot or time period. You're fighting many battles, and so having these non-negotiables, the things that you say must happen because this is the way it's going to happen within our household, that is important. As you set the study timetables, make sure that you have realistic study periods. Some people want to give 3 hours of study to one subject. That's not realistic. Most children have an attention span of somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. I say for any subject period, in terms of reading and reviewing, 15 minutes, practice another 15 minutes, then take a break. 30-minute blocks help with mastery and reinforcement. As the children get older, you will see that they might be able to lengthen the time period, but what we don't want is for them to be in the space for 2-3 hours with one page and they have not mastered anything. So set realistic study periods, and as I said, it is even better when you can build that into the time management or the timetable that you created. Set the study breaks. That is very important, and above all else, I think where you study, please do not send your children into their bedrooms to study unless you have a designated study space or study table. They should not be studying in their beds, because trust me, as long as they're in their beds, I'm speaking from experience, you're going to go to sleep at some point. As I said, studying is not always the most attractive thing for our children, and so you have to make sure that you manage or you're aware of their study space, and considering the study space, then you have the appropriate study breaks. If the study space is someplace such as outside under a tree, that's fine. You don't have to have a formal table or build a table. You can have your designated study spaces which are quiet enough that the students can focus and as free from distractions as possible, and as far as possible, as I said before, where you can join them, that's okay. I spoke to those adults who may feel that the content is above us. Much of the content is above me, and so I know what it feels like sometimes, especially when you're not exposed to it. It's not the area of study that you have pursued, you may feel like, okay, it's above you, it's too difficult, I don't know what to do. Sometimes your presence is all that is needed, especially at those higher levels. You can sit there, work on something else, or do something else, or just check in maybe every 30 minutes to see how they're doing without becoming a burden or too much for them. Teenagers tend not to want helicoptering as much, but they do need monitoring and managing. Know your child, know the child within your care. That's an important step as you are preparing and practicing with them for the upcoming assessments. Each child has a different style of retaining, of interaction with content. We cannot all sit down and just read the content and remember it. Some persons will have to incorporate the arts. There are some children who need to sing it, there's some who need to have a poem, there's some who you need to read to, and then ask them the questions. You have to know where your child is at and see what you can do to build them to get to the next level. As I said, it's a considerable amount of content because it's not just what they did from last term, but from September to now. And you know, between September and now, we've had 2 vacation breaks, we've had several activities, and so they may not always get it the first time, but we encourage you to be there. So know your child, know the child within your care, so that you can guide them through that part as well. Ask questions is a big one. Ask questions of your school, ask questions of your child, ask questions of persons who can help you where you feel like you don't know what to do, and that would get help where needed. And I know sometimes this part is tough. It's tough asking for help, and sometimes it's tough with everyone having very busy schedules. It's sometimes hard to get that help that you think that you need or that you know that you need. Studying and preparing for assessments can become daunting, and it can be something that you have children sitting in a space, as I said, for an extended period of time. I want you to remember the importance of health and well-being, and so exercising and having activities in between is imperative. It is imperative for our students to get a chance to go outside and run around for a bit, or take a walk, or do some form of physical activity that will break the monotony of preparing for whatever the assessments are. And having conversations and doing wellness checks with our students is also important. And wellness checks, physical well-being, mental well-being. Studying can become overwhelming very easily, especially because of the span of time that you are trying to cover. And so do those wellness checks. How are you doing? How are you feeling about certain things? And when they say they feel overwhelmed, have that conversation and try your best not to shut them down and tell them, well, too bad, and I had to go through worse, and those types of things. The mental health of our students will help to contribute to their holistic development and success. And as I said, exercising will also help to contribute to that, getting the blood flowing, oxygen going properly to the brain and throughout the body. Those are things that will help your child to be successful. Not to the point of going outside to play for 3 hours and then they're tired and have to come in to sleep, but that you give them those opportunities daily for that. And take into consideration, if their extracurricular activities allow for exercise and movement, then those can be counted towards that bit of advice that I gave there. And the last piece I'm going to give today is nutrition. Try your best to make sure that your children are eating, that they're eating on time, and that they're eating well. I know that eating well is often a challenge, but just like exercise, just like the mental and well-being checks, the nutrition checks are also equally as important, because they help to get the children's bodies ready for retaining information. For example, having too much sugars will probably do one of two things. They will either become very wired and agitated, and they won't sit still, and you won't get them to do and focus, and then you'll get frustrated and they'll get frustrated, and the whole process is not going to work for you. Or they may get sugar high and then they crash equally as fast, and when they crash, it's hard to get them into a space of being able to properly interact and properly retain as needed. So those are our advice for the preparation for the end of year exams. We will continue next week because we are on exam watch, if you want to call it that. We'll continue throughout the course of next week and the coming weeks, and we'll share information with you. Until then, we wish you a very productive week. Make sure that you stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated as we go through these very hot periods. Have a wonderful week.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean.